my pronouns are they, them. As you may know, April is Autism Acceptance Month. I'm so thankful to talk with all of you today about autism acceptance and the social model of disability. The social model of disability is an alternative to the medical model of disability. The medical model has a long history of violence and yet is still the most common way for people and institutions to think about disability. The medical model pathologizes our naturally occurring differences and attempts to eradicate those differences. The medical model treats disabled people as inherently inferior. The social model, however, celebrates human diversity and shows us that disability is created by society, favoring certain bodies and neurotypes when building infrastructure and social systems. The social model, of course, fully supports the choice for medical treatments, but also looks beyond that into how we can make society itself less oppressive. The Neurodiversity Movement uses the framework of the social model of disability, but is focused on neurological variation. Instead of treating certain neurotypes as inherently inferior, the Neurodiversity Movement celebrates the neurological diversity of humanity. When I first came across the Neurodiversity Movement, I didn't yet know that I was autistic. I started following neurodiversity pages because there was helpful advice about mental illness. But seeing autistic people talk about their experiences was like looking into a mirror. Having a community of people with similar struggles is such an incredible resource. Autistic advocates have helped me so much to understand myself and my needs and find self-acceptance. Unfortunately, getting a diagnosis can be extremely difficult. People of marginalized genders and Black, Indigenous people of color of all genders are frequently misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all. Many people go their whole lives without knowing that they're autistic and are left to struggle without accommodations, without community, in a world that is dangerous, violent, and deadly to us. While official diagnosis is a privilege, it can also lead to discrimination and abuse. Officially diagnosed children are generally put through applied behavioral analysis, which is known to cause PTSD. ABA's focus on compliance makes children afraid to say no and puts them at higher risk for further abuse. The United Nations classifies electric shock punishments as torture, and yet the Association for Behavior Analysis International continues to endorse the use of this practice on people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. That's right. The Judge Rottenberg Center in Massachusetts is still using electric shock devices on children. This is illegal to use on animals, but is being used on children in our state. The creator of ABA, Ole Ivar Lovaas, used similar techniques to experiment on children in an attempt to prevent them from being gay. As a queer autistic person, I don't want to be cured of my queerness, and I don't want to be cured of my autisticness. Lovaas was one of the founders of the Autism Society of America, which is the organization that created Autism Awareness Month. Awareness efforts present us as a problem that needs to be solved. Awareness campaigns raise money for non-autistic organizations that pay non-autistic researchers to search for a cure that the autistic community at large does not want. Autistic rights advocates created Autism Acceptance Month as a response. Nothing about us without us. For the past 11 years, autism rights activists and autistic-run organizations such as the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network have been fighting for Acceptance Month to be recognized, and it's starting to catch on. If you'd like to donate money for Autism Acceptance Month, I recommend donating to Autistic Self-Advocacy Network or the Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network. Autism is not a disease. It's a neurological variation that has existed as long as humans have existed. Autism is a natural part of the human experience. We don't need a cure. What we need is accessibility and acceptance. We need to build sensory-friendly public spaces instead of painful sensory environments that hurt us. And we need to end the stigmatization and shaming of autistic traits. Autistic people are at an increased risk of abuse, unemployment, social alienation, and police violence. For autistic people that are affected by other systems of oppression as well, those risks are even further increased. Increasing police funding for training programs isn't going to stop police from killing disabled people at disproportionately high rates. Police abolition is the only way to end police violence. No more is possible. The fight for disability rights is a fight for our lives. Fight with us. For more information, there are so many autistic self-advocates speaking out on social media. I'd like to recommend Neurodivergent Rebel and Lydia X.C. Brown Autistic Koya. If you can also search the hashtag #ActuallyAutistic to find more autistic voices speaking out. I'd like to close with a quote by autism rights activist Jim Sinclair from his famous 1993 essay, "Don't Mourn for Us." The tragedy is not that we're here, but that your world has no place for us to be. Thank you.
And next up is Kelly.